Hey everyone, in this video I'll be going over the basics of Supabase and how to build a CRUD application using Supabase, and in the end we will have created this simple notes app where it's going to fetch the notes that we have made and we can open them and we can say anything that we want. So let's do like and subscribe, and we'll be able to save the notes, and we can go back and we can open the notes and it'll be there. We can also create a new note and we can type whatever we want in here and all the notes will show up here. And today we'll be building this using Supabase, and along the way I'll be teaching you about the basics of CRUD, create, read, update, and delete using Supabase. So let's get started. Once you've signed into your Supabase account or made a new account, we can make a new project, and I'm going to call this YouTube-1, generate a password, and click create new project. Alright, once it's done, the only things that we're going to need to do is actually create the table and copy our keys here. So I'm going to open up a new note, and we're actually going to copy our project URL, paste it there, and we're also going to need our API key and paste it there. Great. Now that we've done that, we can make a new table, and we're going to call this table notes. Now usually you want to make sure your row level security is turned on, but for the sake of this tutorial and to keep everything simple, we're just going to turn it off. We need to make two columns. We'll make this the title, and we will make another one called content, and we'll make this the text. There we go. Now we can save this. Great. Once it's done, we can close this and we can actually begin programming our app. So instead of Visual Studio Code, let's do npm create vita at latest. I'm going to call this the Supabase tutorial. Select React and JavaScript, and now it should be installing React. And once it's done installing, we should probably, or we're gonna install Supabase, and then after Supabase we can install the routing things that we need. So we'll do npm. Actually, let's cd into Supabase tutorial first, and then we can do npm install at supabase/supabase -js react router and react router DOM. Great. Let's open up our Supabase tutorial, and inside of our root directory here, make an environment variable, and let's actually run our app. There we go. And in the environment variable, we want to get the things that we copied from Supabase. So that it's pretty simple. It's going to be the URL and the key. So it's vite Supabase URL, and that's going to be, hold on, and that'll be this URL here. And we need the vite Supabase key, and that's going to be this right here. Now that we've got that in our source folder, we can make a Supabase client, and in here we can import create client from Supabase-js, and we can do const Supabase key is equal to import.meta.environment.vite Supabase URL, and this is going to be the Supabase. Actually, no, this is the Supabase URL, not the key. My bad. And the key is going to be the same, except it's key. And now we can do const Supabase client is equal to create client, and we're gonna put the URL and the key, and then we can export this. Great. Now that we've got that done, we can actually get our browser router and everything there. So in our main.jsx, we can import browser router from React router, and in our app we can make a browser router, and we're gonna put our app inside of the router here. And let's actually delete the second instance. Great. Now that we've got that, let's actually just program our app.jsx. Actually, no, first let's make the pages. So instead of our source, we can make pages, and in the folder that we made, we can make note.jsx, put some boilerplate in there, and then we can make notes view and put some boilerplate in there as well. Great. Now we can actually close our Explorer and program our app. So let's turn this into boilerplate code. And on the top, we're going to import note. And we're going to import notes view. And in our return, we can, we also want to import route and routes. So we're going to do import from React router DOM. And in our return, we can just put routes here. And we can put our first route. So the first path is going to be slash, and the element is going to be the notes view. Great. Now we can actually copy and paste this, and instead of slash, it'll be slash note slash :id, and this is going to be note. Great. Now we can close our app, and now we're actually ready to program the note. So in the note.jsx, we'll be able to read and update the database, and notes view will be able to read all of the notes in our table and display them accordingly. And we'll also have a button which redirects to each individual note. So let's get started. Let's program our notes view file. So with React, we're gonna need to import useState and useEffect, and we're gonna need to import useNavigate from React router, and also the Supabase client from Supabase client there. And in our function, let's make two states. So let's actually make a navigate first, and then we'll do const and then we'll make another one for all the notes that we have. Let's do notes and set notes, and then we can make a useEffect to fetch the notes. So in the useEffect, let's make a fetch notes asynchronous function. And let's actually call it down here also. Great. And now in the function, it's pretty simple. We're gonna have when we fetch from Supabase, we're going to get the data, and we're also gonna get an error. So this will be await Supabase client, and we're gonna do dot from notes. So this is saying from the notes table, we want to select asterisk, which means select everything, and we want to order it by the created at, and we want to set ascending to be true. So that way we get the newest one at the, actually no, let's set ascending to be false. So that way we get the newest one at the top. Now we can check. So if we've got an error, then we can just console.log the error. Else we can just set notes to be the data. Great. Now we can save this, and let's just refresh to make sure that we've got no errors. There we go. Let's go to our console, refresh. Okay, good. So we're all good there. Now we need to make two more functions, one to create and the other one to delete the note. Now we can just set up those functions, but let's actually first also set up the HTML to actually display everything. So that way we can make sure that everything is working. So let's make the function to create. And then let's do great. Now in the return, let's program our HTML. So let's first check if we've got no notes. So hold on. So it's pretty simple. We have to do notes.length. So if the length is equal to 0, then we're going to display a p tag that says no notes. And let's make an unordered list, and we can map notes. So we'll do notes.map. Hold on. So we will do notes.map, and in here do this, and then we will make, there we go, hold on, and in here we're going to make a list, and the key, since all lists need a key, the key will be the node.id. And then on click, so whenever we click this, we're going to navigate. So when we click this, we're going to navigate to /note/ and then this is going to be the ID of the node. Great. Now in the list, we can just display the name of the title. So we can just do node.title. Great. And now let's make a button which just says delete note. Great. And in the button, let's make an on click. And the on click, it'll just be delete note. And we're going to pass in the ID of the note and an event. Great. Now let's actually make the form that we can use to make a new note, right? So we'll do form, and we'll do on submit. We're going to call the create note function, and in the note we're going to map an input which has the type being text. Placeholder, let's just put title. I think I spelled that wrong, but whatever. And the value is going to be the title, and on change. So we're going to set the title. So on change, we're going to set the title. Whoops. To be e.target.value. Great. Now we can save this. And under here, under the input, let's actually have a button. The type is submit, and let's do create note. Let's save that. Great. Now we can program the create note function and the delete note function to actually create and delete the notes. Alright, so for create note, in here, let's first let's get the event, and we will do event.prevent default, so it doesn't just refresh. And we will do if. So if we've got nothing, then we'll just return nothing. And we'll do const data and error is equal to await Supabase client. So from the notes, hold on, we're going to insert. So we're going to insert in our database. So this is going to be like that, or the title and the content is going to be nothing since we won't have anything in the beginning. And we're going to select everything in our database once we do that. And then we can just return a single item. Great. And we can just check. So if we've got an error, then we're going to console.log the error. Else we can set the notes to be the previous note, and then the data previous, and then we're going to navigate to the note. So we'll do /note/ this will be the data.id. Now let's do our delete note function. It's the same, well, it's almost the same idea, but yeah. So we're gonna be getting the ID and the event, right? And in here, same, we'll prevent the default, and then we'll do const error. Since when we're deleting, we're not really getting anything back, right? Is equal to await Supabase client, and we're gonna do dot from notes. We're going to delete, and we're going to delete the we're going to delete the ID whenever it is the ID. Well, we're going to delete the note with the ID of whichever ID that we pass in. And we can check. So if error, then we'll just console.log the error. Else we can set the notes to be the previous note, and then we're going to actually filter the previous note, and then take the note, and then what we're going to do is take that note.id is not equal to ID. So we're basically deleting the note, or we're filtering the note, and we're deleting from the array the one that we just deleted, right? So we can save that, and let's actually test it out here. So let's do hello, and there we go. We have went to note/1 since that is the ID. Note/1. Hold on, let me actually check what's going on. Prop. We can actually ignore this error for now, it's not really that important. But looks like we're done with the notes view programming, and we can program our actual note. So in here, we'll be able to type our notes and save them, and then we can also go back to our home. So let's get started. So our note file is going to be the last file that we change, and in here, it's pretty simple. We need a use effect which fetches all of the note's content, and we need a save function which is going to save the note, and then we can just display the note in a text area, and then have the buttons below. So we need to import use state and use effect, and we need params and navigate from React router. And we also need the Supabase client from the Supabase client. And now we can make the ID for from our URL. And now we can make our states. So let's call this the note, and this is just going to be the title. And delete that up there. And we need the content. And we need, let's just do saving. So that way we can actually display if it's saving or not, like in our buttons or something like that. Now let's make our use effect. in here we can make a function to fetch the note. So we'll do asynchronous function fetch, and let's just call the function. Now in the function, it's pretty simple to what we did in our notes view function to fetch it. So we need to select everything, and we're going to display only the one with the ID, whatever is in our parameter, and then we're going to select that one only. Great. Else we can just set note to be data, and then we can set the content to be data.content, or if there is nothing, we'll just set it as nothing. So save that, and now let's make a function to actually save the note, and then after that we can program our type our HTML. So let's do asynchronous, hold on. In here, pretty simple. We'll first set saving to be true, and we're gonna get from Supabase notes. We're going to update. We're going to update the content, and I guess what we can do is we can do from and the content that we're going to be updating is the one which has this ID. Actually, yeah, if error, then we can just do console.log error, and we're going to do set saving to be nice. And let's just do, if we don't even have any notes like at all, so we'll just do if there is no note, then we will return a p tag that says loading, since the note is probably still loading. Nice. Okay, now we can actually program our HTML to have the text area and the buttons. So let's do that. Alrighty, in the return we can make a div. In the div, let's have an h2 that has the note.title, and let's make a text area. Let's actually delete all this stuff here, and the value of the text area is just going to be the content, and on change we can make an event which sets the content to be e.target.value, and we can just make the rows 12 so it's like a good size. Great, and save that. And here let's just have a div. Let's have one button that's the back button, so that'll actually take us back home. Let's do on click. Hold on, whoops. We can navigate slash. Let's just do instead of slash, let's just navigate back to the -1. So that way it'll take us back to where we came from. And let's have another button. And in the button, let's actually do saving. So if it's saving, then it's gonna say saving. Else, it'll just say save. And on click, we will, let's just run save note. And let's make disabled is equal to saving. So if it is saving, then we don't want them to like repeatedly press save, or else it could mess up something. So let's try this out. So let's actually go back home, and let's see if the button works to go to the note. So that works. The delete work? Yep, delete works. And let's make a new note. There we go. And let's try typing something. Let's say, hello, how are you? Save it. And let's just refresh the page. There we go, it's saved. And we can open it up again. There we go. So, yep, everything works. The code in the video could be found in the description below in the GitHub. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe and leave a like. And thanks for watching.